Good evening, from wherever you are joining from, and thank you so much for joining. So, as a part of introduction, this is the APPNA, or the Association of Pakistani Physicians in North America, bi-weekly webinar series, and it is done under the APPNA MERIT Committee, which is the Medical Education, Research, International Training, and Transfer of Technology Subcommittee. And under this, we have been holding regular seminars, webinars for almost 2 years. So I welcome all of you for joining. And as a side note, all of these webinars are recorded, and the recordings are available on the YouTube channel. So please feel free to go back and review what has done in the past, or if you have missed something from today's talk, you can always go and listen to that. In addition to that, we also have created a huge repository of clinical research and technology resources, and they are available on our WhatsApp group. So if you have not joined, please join the WhatsApp group. I will ask our tech support, Waleed, to put the WhatsApp link in the chat so you can join that from there. It's a valuable resource for anyone looking into clinical research or technology related to medical research. So with that, my name is Sarfraz Hasni. I'm a rheumatologist and clinical research based at the National Institutes of Health in Bethesda, Maryland. And it's my distinct honor and pleasure to welcome today's speaker, who's Dr. MURTAZA HUSSAIN. And I think the ones who have been regularly joining us are already familiar with him. But just as a matter of introduction, a brief introduction, that Dr. MURTAZA HUSSAIN is the CEO of Matrix Research, and he is a healthcare professional. He is MD and MBA, and has been trained at various institutions such as Aga Khan University, University of Aberdeen in Scotland, and he has worked with reputable pharma companies like Novartis, Abbott, and other pharmas. Other than this rich commercial experience, he also been involved in clinical trials from a sponsor's perspective, which has helped him significantly in managing Matrix Research, the pioneer CRO of Pakistan. But before we hand it over to Dr. Murtaza, in terms of the panelists, so our force behind all of this, Dr. Uzair, is not here because, of course, today is the very important day for Pakistan, is the Pakistan Day, 23rd March. So, Pakistan Zindabad to all of you. But he is busy, and he is, I understand, with the ambassador of Pakistan in Canada, and they have a ceremony at the embassy where he was invited. So because of his not being here, the work he does is so much that he has three people taking over his job. But the foremost is Dr. Jabin. Dr. Jabin Fayaz is currently an assistant professor at University of Toronto, and she is at the Hospital for Sick Children. She is also a pioneer of the SIM Educator Resuscitation Lead Division of Emergency Medicine at the Hospital for Sick Children in Toronto, and she's been there for almost a decade now. And she has done a lot of innovative work in doing the resuscitation through SIM technology, and she is the resuscitation lead for the competency-based medical education program for the faculty. So I know she has a very long bio, and I've not done justice, but this is a very brief introduction for Dr. Jabin Fayaz. So thank you so much for joining. And we also are joined by Dr. Umar Hayat and Dr. Sarwat Hussain, who are our regular panelists. Just to sort of orient everyone, the way we run these webinars is that first the presenter, which is Dr. Murtaza Hussain today, will do the presentation. At the end, we will have comments from our panelists. And the participants, please ask any questions and answers, and you will see a Q&A window at the bottom of your screen. So please post your questions there, and our panelists will review the questions and try to get to as many as possible. There may be some questions that we may not be able to get to, but we'll try to get as many as possible. So with all of that, last but not least, we're always indebted to the tech supports provided by Waleed and his team. So thank you so much for working behind the scenes to make sure that this is all going well without any interruption. So with that, I'll request Dr. Murtaza Hussain to please take it away, and request all the participants to please mute and close your videos so that we have so we are not distracted during the presentation. Thank you. Murtaza, please take it away.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much for the introduction, Sarfaraz, and Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Pakistan Zindabad. What an apt date for this topic, landscape of clinical trials in Pakistan. And before I formally begin my presentation, just this disclaimer. I will try my best to not influence this talk by any commercial motives, even though I am the CEO of the pioneer CRO of Pakistan, Matrix Research. And we've tried to gather all the information given in this presentation from published facts and figures only pertaining to Asia and specifically to Pakistan. I will, I've been always asked to read this next paragraph word, quote unquote, although all information and opinions expressed in this presentation have been obtained from reliable sources and in good faith. Please, there is no warranty expressed or implied as to the completeness of the information that I will share, but also there will be a lot of, I will try my best to share the commercial experience that I have and that I have witnessed in various capacities and as a stakeholder of clinical research and clinical trials specifically in Pakistan. So with that disclaimer, allow me to just begin with a quick overview of clinical trials in a global perspective. It is a huge industry. We're talking about an industry standing at $48.2 billion and growing at a phenomenal 6%, 6.2%, and is marked to hit $100 billion by 2030. So what that eventually translates in is, a growing and a developing pipeline, not only from the biopharmas, but well, mostly from the biopharmas when we look at what the current perspective is internationally. But also in terms of the global drug development and drives that have been taken for management of various diseases as well. COVID was probably the only silver lining in COVID globally was clinical research, clinical trials, in terms of the progress that we've made, and we're expecting a lot of R&D investments to fall in post COVID, not just in this the pandemic portfolio, but also with reference to our preparedness for future pandemics, if I can put it that way simply. And Asia Pacific region of late has been in a lot of focus because of the growth potential that we offer sitting here. It's growing. When we look at the stats, it's growing at 9.7%, which is faster than any other region in the world. So primarily driving the complete the global market, we can very safely say is the Asia Pacific region. And what are the factors that are causing all this? So the first and foremost that everyone talks about, that everyone perceives to be, something that is the reason why we should go to Asia Pacific is the low costs that we offer here. And I will talk more about all of these factors in the subsequent. In fact, my whole presentation is going to revolve around Pakistan's statement on all of these factors that are contributing to the significant growth in the Asia Pacific region. So there's a sizable treatment population. More importantly, our treatment naive population is present, which is music to a lot of trialists' ears. When we talk of a lot of protocols requiring it to be a mandate. retention rates are supposedly higher in the Asia Pacific region. We'll talk a little about this as well in Pakistan. And then there has been a significant improvement in the research quality and standards that are generally prevalent all across the stakeholders. So I'm not just talking about the CROs here. I'm talking about the clinical trial sites. I'm talking about regulators in general. Uh, the standards have been significantly improving in the past few years, and we'll talk a little more about this with reference to Pakistan. Now, with this focus on Pakistan, as I said, that I will specifically talk about the population dynamics, the disease demographics. I won't spend a lot of time on the first two topics because I am pretty sure that the audience that we have here today is probably is way more educated than me in terms of talking about the disease demographics and the population dynamics in Pakistan. We are all aware of what big opportunities Pakistan present here, but I will more importantly focus on the current ground situation of clinical trial preparedness for Pakistan as a nation, the improving regulatory framework, and the commercial parameters that is helping us attract more and more international sponsors of late in Pakistan. And I can speak for for my company, for Matrix Research. Alhamdulillah, there has been a significant insurge in the number of queries, in the number of we like to call it window shoppings, but that alone in itself is very clearly giving us a good idea of how well Pakistan is getting accepted in the international arena as a country to go to for clinical trials. So diving into all of these factors separately now, when we talk of the demographics of the population of Pakistan, we're now the 5th largest nation in terms of population. So the official number of the census of 2023 was 241.49 million people. That's a lot of people when we talk of the geography that we are offering. And urbanization, something that I have been studying since school, that there's a trend of people moving from the rural areas to the urban areas, is now hitting its significant mark, because this percentage of about 35% people living in the urban areas is again something that is attracting clinical trials in Pakistan. And I'll talk more about this factor when I talk about the clinical trial sites in the subsequent slides. Life expectancy is increasing. It has increased from 60 years to 66.1 years in the past 15 years. And what is most important for me and for us as clinical trial stakeholders, commercial clinical trial stakeholders, is that we can boast of a very young population that resides in our country. There's an almost 50-50, so 49 and 51% split in the gender, but median age when we look at our complete population is only 20.6 years. And that is a significant factor, when we talk of, so specifically, I've seen this in a lot of queries that, the kind of, inclusion of younger people in trials helps us improve the overall retention rate as well. And disease demographics, well, so to begin with, I would like to talk about the burden of diseases. Now, again, this is a reference that has been taken from Global Burden of Diseases 2019. Their latest update is going to come this year. But we're not expecting a very different trends. Neonatal disorders are, continue to be the highest burden of disease, which is unfortunate, and because a lot of these diseases are preventable. Just one thing to look at in this graph is that the red ones, the red areas, are the red marks are the diseases that are communicable, maternal, neonatal, or nutritional diseases, and the non-communicable diseases are the blue ones. So when we look at the mortality data across the world, non-communicable diseases kind of take the lion's share. in terms of mortality. But in Pakistan, again, non-communicable diseases still are on a rampant rise. Now, all of this, how is this important for the clinical trial landscape is that, when we get queries, the first and foremost question that a lot of sponsors put to us is an estimate of the number of, targeted patients / participants that they want to look at in clinical trials. And we can offer some really good numbers here. I'll talk more about these diseases. Looking deep diving into the non-communicable diseases to begin with. Diabetes is on a rampant rise. Trials for diabetes, again, something that we are completely ready with, in terms of the epidemiological factors that are prevalent in Pakistan. And we are talking about, a significant burden of disease caused by diabetes, but also contributed by other cardiovascular diseases. So chronic kidney diseases, this was, our topic last time when I was here as a speaker, is again, one of those areas where there is a significant scope for clinical trials. Of course, goes without saying that cardiovascular diseases comes part and parcel with this metabolic syndrome drive across the world globally, and Pakistan is no different from behaving no differently from any other regions in the world. So you have your fatty liver diseases, your hypertensions, and then other diseases, even autoimmune diseases, noteworthy because autoimmune diseases are, one of the key areas for the R&D pipelines for a lot of big pharmas right now internationally, and Pakistan can offer some good patient numbers here, in the country. However, the biggest therapeutic area internationally right now where clinical trials are conducted are oncology trials, the cancers. And unfortunately, again, Pakistan has a huge burden of disease here as well. Breast cancer, prevails. A good 40% of all total cancers reported. Now, this is just, Punjab Cancer Registry report that was published. But when we look at the national trends, it's not very different from what has been reflected here. And some of the key factors that I can talk about. So 1 in 9 Pakistani women has a lifetime risk of developing breast cancer. This is a huge number. And oral cavity cancers, lip and oral cavity cancers. There was this one particular study done. Karachi, and especially so I'm talking about the old Karachi, some localities, has one of the highest age standardized rates documented around the world. Now, these again open up, this whole, this is the biggest focus area for clinical trials in the world, oncology, without any second thoughts. I was looking at a few stats, and a good 39% of clinical, so 38.7% of clinical trials in the world right now are oncology clinical trials. And one place where Pakistan can do really well, and I must admit, we are not currently, we cannot say that we have a lot of oncology trials coming in, but this is the area, the main focus area for us, so for someone like Matrix Research, to focus on and to share with the international fraternity and communities on how well we can, perform here in these clinical trials. Infectious diseases, the communicable diseases, unfortunately, again, we have some of the highest so we have some of the highest incidences. Malaria is kind of eliminated from a lot of countries, but we still have a huge burden here, and one place which requires a significant attention now from all of us, from all all the stakeholders. So your diarrheas, TB, we have World TB Day tomorrow coming up, and we still have, unfortunately, this significant incidence of 410,000 patients. This is something that needs to be addressed now. Hepatitis, again, WHO has announced its goal of elimination of hepatitis C by 2030. Pakistan, unfortunately, is going to be the forerunner in contributing to this goal of WHO. If we are to eliminate hepatitis C from Pakistan, from the world, Pakistan has to play a significant role, and we are seeing a significant insurge of clinical trials for hepatitis C as well coming in. Of course, comes with all the bloodborne hepatitis trials that we are seeing now happening in Pakistan. So when I and then now let me talk a little about the preparedness that the country has, and try and dispel some myths that we have and that I've heard a lot from a lot of my friends, settled abroad. Pakistan doesn't do clinical trials. Pakistan has done very few clinical trials, and that to an extent is correct, is a correct understanding for them if you look at, the regulated framework, and I'll talk about that in this slide only. But this particular reference that I'm giving was a publication done in 2023, end of 2023. So it's relatively it's you can say very safely say latest numbers that we have, and these numbers were pulled up from various sources, from various trial registries, WHO registries, and we can see that there has been a lot of clinical trials that have been done in so these are trials done in the past 20 years. And you can see that there's a very fairly even split of trials between Sindh and Punjab. Sindh primarily taking a lead here because of some good institutional work done by some institutes in Karachi specifically. And this is the breakup of phase-wise distribution of trials. We've had all sorts of trials done here. As has been the norm everywhere in the world, phase threes are probably the most prevalent trials when we talk of investigational new drug, new therapy trials. And that has been the trend here in Pakistan as well. But then there have been a lot of observational studies and investigator-initiated trials, which kind of don't fall into the phase 4 category. But this should give you a fair idea of why we now need some sort of a platform to formalize, the entry. And I think our regulators, Drug Regulatory Authority of Pakistan, has taken a significant leap in this front. So again, the split between interventional and observational trials, you can see that there have been a lot of interventional trials, a lot of them IITs, investigator-initiated trials that have been done. But this move of registering the trials in Pakistan Clinical Trial Registry by DRAP is something that is going to help us go a very long way in improving these stats. We want these trials to be visible to the world. We want them to know what happens. Especially, one question that a lot of sponsors ask is, what is the visibility and transparency of the processes that you offer in Pakistan? And this is one place where we are, making significant leap in the right direction. And there have been all therapeutic areas addressed in clinical trials. Drug trials have been, of course, they take the lion's share. But then when we talk of other trials, we as a company have been involved in at least 6 device trials in the past 3 years. So diagnostic trials and vaccine trials, of course, Pakistan came into the limelight because of the vaccine trials that were international vaccine trials for COVID that were done here, and that trend has continued. We've seen some other good international trials getting executed for other infectious diseases as well of late. So as I said that, the split is, and it's now, as I said, these are all registered, these are all numbers that are published. Central nervous system remains one of those areas where there have been a lot of investigator-initiated trials, and a lot of interest gathers in Pakistan because of that. But you can very clearly see that the split is kind of reflecting the disease prevalences as well. Having said that, there is a lot of room for improvement for oncology, as I said previously, but this will, remain an area where we need to focus on, where we need to work on specifically in future as well, and where we would request your support, this audience's support, because this remains the lowest hanging fruit when it comes to, bringing in new clinical trials in Pakistan. Um, and so the significant upsurge of clinical trials in the past 10 years or so, we owe it a lot to our regulators, to the way the whole regulatory environment has been changing. And I will talk a little more about that in the subsequent slides. Allow me to give you a quick glimpse of all the stakeholders right now who are conducting clinical trials in Pakistan. So to begin with, your sponsors, there are now, as I said, I did say this, I'm repeating this statement, there's a lot of window shopping going on these days by international biopharmaceuticals. So now, this is a very positive and a healthy sign for our country, because people, we've suddenly, grasped a lot of attention of these sponsors, these international pharmaceuticals. I'm specifically talking about the small to medium sized biopharmas who share in a lot of queries, and some of them get translated into eventual work as well. As far as our national pharmaceutical circuit is concerned, it is almost, I would say, 100% generic pharmaceutical industry. But with that comes, some studies getting done, which are phase 4 studies, but a lot of observational studies are getting done. And then because of the export requirements, a lot of bioequivalence and bioavailability trials are sponsored by the local industry. Participants, I've talked about the disease patients, the disease demographics, how we offer a good chunk of diseases. I'm sorry to use these words the way I'm using them, but as I said, that I'll try my best not to influence my talk with the commercial thoughts that are always there as a CEO of a CRO here. But healthy volunteers, again, one place, when I told you, the median age 20.6, this significantly helps us improve, the healthy volunteer participation. And we've seen that to help in a lot of trials. Academic institutions play their part. As I mentioned earlier, that we have some good academic institutes playing, bringing in a lot of research, a lot of grants that have translated into some good international data that is utilized not only for policy making here locally, but has been, has helped us shape up a lot of, the understanding of a lot of diseases, especially the communicable diseases across the world. When I started my journey in Matrix, so I started in 2020, and I took over the company as the CEO of the company, and since then, back in 2020, there were just 4 to 5 CROs. Right now, so this is the latest number. There are 20 DRAP approved CROs. You can see that there has been a significant insurge in the number of CROs that are getting themselves registered by DRAP, and then there are some good international CROs also present in Pakistan. I believe we've had a talk from IQVIA in the past as well, but Tiger Med is operating in Pakistan, the biggest CRO of China, and their strategy is kind of working mostly into rescue strategies for clinical trials, as we like to look at it. But having said that, there's a lot of potential that these international CROs have in developing the landscape of clinical trials in Pakistan. And a wonderful thing, I always say this in open forums, wherever I get a chance to talk about this, are the DRAP approved clinical trial sites. Now, I know that the US and the Canadian environment, this kind of bamboozles people. Why I say that, this is a wonderful thing for Pakistan, that DRAP has taken a complete control over the clinical trial sites, who can conduct a trial and who cannot. But I can tell you, as one of the most important stakeholders of clinical trials in Pakistan, this is a wonderful initiative. Why I say this? Because this helps us sell quality, and we have some wonderful sites who have licenses. There are 9 sites right now who have generalized clinical trial licenses, and by generalized license, they can conduct any sort of clinical trial from phase 1 to phase 4. But then there are some specific phase 3 and phase 4 sites that have been allowed to conduct trials. And you can see that, what this does is that this kind of, yes, limits the number of hospitals who can do trials. But this is equally justified. And we have, I have personally seen a lot of hospitals now thinking in this line of, bringing their standard of care to a level that they can go and apply for a clinical trial site license to DRAP. And this is, I think, wonderful, because this is something that has really helped us keep a very strong check on what is happening, at the most important, um, at the most important Yes, so I've just I'm also getting a lot of messages on my phone, and I've just received a message that there are 94 clinical trial sites that are approved. I am just talking about the trial sites. Yes, I'm aware of that. I'm just talking about the trial sites that have been given a generalized approval for licenses for conducting trials. And regulatory bodies, yes, so IRB, NBC. And DRAP. Now this again, so institutional review boards have significantly again improved the quality of reviews, the ethical reviews that are getting done. National Bioethics Committee. I will talk a little more about this whole evolution of the regulatory bodies, and Drug Regulatory Authority of Pakistan as well. So I'll talk a little more about the regulatory bodies when I talk of the regulatory framework in my subsequent slides, please. As I said, so we have some good hospitals, some good tertiary care hospitals that are that can offer treatment and management protocols as well as anywhere else in the world. And we've got excellent diagnostic capabilities, excellent management capabilities at these international, internationally accredited sites and labs. And this really helps us, sell Pakistan, put Pakistan on the map. When it comes to assuring the quality of services that we'd be able to provide to the sponsors. I promise that I'll talk a lot more about the regulatory framework, because this is a very important topic when we talk of how Pakistan has evolved this regulatory framework in the past couple of decades. 2004 was when the first time that that National Bioethics Committee was constituted, and this was the first move in the right direction in terms of compliances with good clinical practices. And then DRAP was, clinical trials were approved by Ministry of Health till 2012. And then DRAP was formed in 2012. So with Drug Regulatory Authority of Pakistan, taking its charge, it launched its first biostudy rules in 2017. It took us a year or so to implement those trials in Pakistan, and these biostudy rules in Pakistan. But there is, the clinical trial guidelines, the first edition first took its formulated, its first formulation in 2019. And it was again just the right time, just before COVID, that we had this. NBC has again, taken a big leap in terms of improving its operational manual, and a second edition of the operational manual was published in 2023, in May 2023, and it is really extensive. What it has really helped us as CROs, as again commercial entities doing clinical trials, is that we can now, just refer to this manual to assure the international sponsors that every last dot of GCP is going to be taken care of when we talk of the operational manual of NBC. And very welcome is the second edition of clinical trials guidelines conduct by Drug Regulatory Authority of Pakistan, just recently published, I think a few days back. The edition 2 is now published. And so, we've learned from our experiences. We've kind of improved on the first edition, made it more, user friendly, made it more transparent, in terms of, especially in terms of expectations of timelines, expectations of what all documentation is required for a regulated trial to be conducted in Pakistan. And this has also now, helped us streamline a very good timeline framework for Pakistan. So we are talking about an overall approval cycle of say 4 to 5 months. Now, uh, now I'm talking about, from contract signing to first patient first visit. Ideally, if all the paperwork is in place, we can get that started ideally within 4 to 5 months. This is a very good timeline, because allow me to compare this with some of our neighboring countries, with some of the other good to do Asian countries with reference to clinical trials. And you can see that across the board, maybe barring say Taiwan, who kind of can match this timeline that we have. All the other countries are kind of falling in the same framework. India, for one, has, and we need to look at India because India is doing really well in clinical trials. And their timeline, our timeline is kind of shorter than India's timeline. This is something that we use commercially a lot and has helped us sell Pakistan. And again, what is most important are the commercial parameters. Now, I said that cost is one of the biggest factors in my probably my first slide. In my second slide, why a South Asian region has the highest growth. And this is a quick comparison. I know these numbers are a little old, but this was the best that I could find that could be referenced. And these numbers are from 2016, but it again gives us a good reference point to understand where we are standing. US cost per patient per visit, and these are just average numbers for all therapeutic areas in all phases, is $1,380, and that's a significant sum when you compare it with, say, the country at the end of the spectrum, India, offering the same services, similar quality at $330. This is why Asia Pacific as a region has been growing, but Pakistan, and this is our own internal number that that I have computed looking at all the deals that Matrix has signed. And we don't have an official number as yet, but our internal number is about $220. So this is something that is again catching the eye of the international sponsors. And as I said, the small and the medium bio-size pharmas want quality, yes, but they also want economy, so that their clinical trials remain on track and don't face all the holds that is a usual norm in the industry because of financial constraints. So again, let me just take you through all the therapeutic services that we offer and all the capabilities that Pakistan has in terms of offering services for clinical trials. People think that we cannot do preclinical studies here in Pakistan. Well, there have been some, there are a couple of institutes in Pakistan who are doing preclinical studies and who've done international preclinical studies as well. Having said that, we have some good international collaborations. Of note is Jordan, where we have done, so Matrix itself has answered a lot of preclinical study queries by collaborating with other countries like Jordan. but clinical development, your phase 1 to phase 4s, your BA/BE studies, your real world evidence data. This is, so everything and anything to do with clinical trials is now on offer in Pakistan. And this is something that has really helped us, answer a lot of queries in affirmative for a lot of international sponsors. Of course, when I say, from the first dot to the last dot, execution always involves some medical communications and data solutions that people seek while conducting clinical trials. And we've got some excellent resources here in Pakistan who can do this, and who've been doing this really well. When we compare the quality that we offer, as it is as good as anywhere else in the world in terms of medical writing, your synopsis developments, your protocol draftings, your grants, your SOPs, and this is something that we've all been able to do really well. Um, then your pharmacovigilance, your individual case safety reporting, your ADRs. This is, yes, there are some, in fact, now of late, what we've seen is that there are some queries coming in specifically for pharmacovigilance queries, and this is really helpful. The regulatory strategies, again, something that, so especially in the past year, we've seen a couple of queries that have come in for your first time registration in Pakistan based on in international clinical trials. And this not only for, for your clinical trials, but regulatory submission end to end post approval of phase 3 consultancy services are now sought after in Pakistan, and this is a really healthy sign. The world is moving towards healthcare access, towards real world evidences, real and some commercial optimizations. Our local industry is now really picking up in this. We've been able to address a good few queries in the past few years for healthcare access informations. The future is of data and real world evidences again. So this was the theme of my talk when we were discussing the Pakistan Society of Nephrology initiatives earlier. The webinar before this. And site management activities, I've talked about this. Of note are the IT solutions that we offer here. A big myth here is that the Pakistan IT environment is not compliant, is not GDPR compliant, is not HIPAA compliant, sorry. But no, this is not true. I can tell you for a fact that we at Matrix have complete GDPR and HIPAA compliant services that we offer for IT solutions. And again, I'll share this with you in the next slide as to how this has helped us gain a lot of international sponsors and a lot of international work. And then goes without saying that we have to have a robust environment for building up the capacity of clinical research and clinical trials in Pakistan. And again, we have some excellent platforms for GCP trainings, for SOP trainings locally that have been offered. Please, just a quick disclaimer that my last, just a last couple of slides. But I just want, without focusing on what Matrix has been doing, I would just like to share with you, real-time examples of all these capabilities that I've talked about. I shared with you that preclinical studies, there are some national institutes that are doing it, some good collaborations with international centers. End-to-end management is something that we've done for Matrix Research. And medical communications and data solutions, again, something I've already talked about. We are in the process of developing our own data solutions, our in-house tools. Inshallah, in near future, we would probably have our own clinical trial management system in-house, which will be local Pakistani software, which will be GDPR and HIPAA compliant. So, this is the aim that we have in the company. We want to move beyond the management of pharmacovigilance and trials and move it to the next level. And inshallah, you will get there. We need support from the national industry for this. regulatory strategies, as I said, that we've been involved in some queries of late that have asked us to register their INDs here in Pakistan. Not only Pakistani drug registries and world disease registries, there have been some international institutes that have approached us to initiate some registries in Pakistan on an international platform. And I've already mentioned the site management activities. As far as capacity building is concerned, just of note is our collaboration with Krieger, which is a Canadian firm, and this partnership has been ongoing since 2008. And we've trained over 800 healthcare professionals in Pakistan on GCP and on how to conduct clinical trials in Pakistan. So as I said, that a few glimpses of what we've been able to do. We are the pioneer CRO, so we've been operating since 2005. We've seen the thicks and thins of this industry, of the whole landscape in Pakistan. And we really need your support in helping us improve the milestones that we've been able to achieve, alhamdulillah, in the past, especially in the past 3 years, I must say. We did the first FDA approved IND trial phase 1B. This was for a COVID drug. We are currently, there is the largest commercial clinical trial of Pakistan is ongoing in the company right now. It's a phase 3 COVID vaccine trial. It's about to end. I've mentioned the 800 plus HCPs that we've trained. We've also extended our services to other countries. We've had one trial opportunity where we were able to do some remote services for a trial in Brazil. All of this should build your confidence in letting you know that we can not only give services in all the therapeutic areas, but we've had some excellent opportunities to boast about a lot of milestones that we've been able to hit in the past year. Of note, and I'll end my presentation here after talking about this, is we are providing data management support for over 25 FDA approved clinical trials for a network of clinical trial site based out of Houston, Texas, and in US. And this is the future, the way to go for Pakistan healthcare and for Pakistan clinical trials and clinical research landscape. Because this not only offers an opportunity for our young talent to dive directly into action, but we've been able to attract some really good profiles because of these data management services that we've been able to offer. So on that note, I would like to end my presentation. I promise that I will end it within 40 minutes. I'm sorry if I've taken 2 more minutes, but I would like to open the floor to questions and answers now. And please do let me know your thoughts on again, one final bit, that we need your support. We need support of Pakistanis residing in US, in Canada, to help us improve this whole landscape of clinical trials further in Pakistan, because we're sitting at the brink of something really big, inshallah. And together we can achieve a lot of great things for the country. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Murtaza Hassain, for this very excellent and informative talk. And looking at the responses from the participants, and the number of participants that are there is probably a record breaking. And of course, it couldn't be done on a much better day than the 23rd March, which is a Pakistan Day. So I think it's a perfect timing for that. So if I can request you to please stop sharing your screen, and then we have Dr. Jabeen Fayyaz. I will request her to say a few words, and there are like so many questions. I don't know, that we will ask them to go through the questions, please.
Sure.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Dr. Murtaza Hussain, for clearly outlining the landscape of clinical trials in Pakistan. There are a lot of things which I was also not very sure of. So thanks for enlightening all of us. And then talking about the intersection that clinicians with the researchers, with educators and leaders can play a role in not only like the number of the diseases which we saw is quite it's quite not very motivating, but then it provide us an opportunity, and then how to find out opportunity in that adversity to make it possible to work for our own population is a huge opportunity here. So thanks for providing that. Without any further delay, as Sarfraz has said, the chat is full of appreciation, and we have more than almost 117 participants who are listening to you and praising all the good information pieces that you have provided. First question is by Muhammad Aslam. Yes,
Yeah.
please go ahead,
No, I
Dr.
was just
Sarwar.
going to say that Dr. Sarbat and Dr. Omar are also here as panelists. So I don't know if they would like to add a couple of words to what you just said. And then let's go to the questions and after that.
Yeah, actually, thank you very much indeed. This was so stimulating a lecture, especially with the tone, and the presentation was so optimistic, typical of a young CEO. And the picture of future that he has painted is fantastic. But at the same time, I like to know what are the difficulties and down the road in order to achieve and continue this journey, especially when we have the impression that in Pakistan, the integrity, honesty, etc., in general terms, not in medical term, is something to be desired. So in that kind of environment, to do something that Dr. Murtaza Hussain has done is really amazingly fantastic, and I congratulate him. Thank you very much. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Sarbat. Dr. Omar, you have anything
Thank
to
you.
add?
I will second what Dr. Service said. I mean, amazing, and thank you very much for painting beautifully the picture for Pakistan. And it's really the time, as I said, it's a huge industry. And rather than going to the IMF, I think we should be going to the pharmaceutical companies to bring these trials in Pakistan. And believe me, we can bring more revenue than probably going to the IMF. So I will certainly second that one. Amazing job. I think we are on our way. I have a few questions, but I think probably we all know. I don't remember if FDA has ever stepped in Pakistan and did the audit of any CRO site. So that should be our probably the next target. Then secondly, I think the COVID, I always say it was a by chance. It was not like we won that trial. It was just forced on us, and then we became the part of the trial which got through the registration process. I think that should be our next target, that we want to bring a trial in Pakistan, and that trial should be the basis of the approval of the drug in the regulated market. I think that would be another challenge we need to meet. Last but not the least, I think the data, especially the bioanalysis labs, we need to really bring to the point where we can start doing these PK trials. I mean, the number of the trials Pakistan has done, it's really a small fraction of the total number of the trials going on in the world.
Yeah.
So even though that number is very encouraging, but we have a long way to go. The cost certainly is an attraction. Treatment naive patient population is an attraction. I think we are selling very well. On the, I will say the DRAP, I really appreciate I think the Matrix and few other CROs who are working very closely with the DRAP. We really need to reduce the approval time. I think it's already, like you guys have made a great achievement there. And we need to build a sort of like collaborations. So it's not a work done in solo. I think we should have the collaborative relationship with the DRAP, help them, help us. That's how we should move forward. I mean, of course, I'm also CEO of the Trial 360, and this subject is very close to my heart. And I think the other thing is I will also encourage to do the local CROs, which now we are 20. And I remember when we registered, I think it was a 6. And I encourage DRAP that let open. I mean, allow everybody who wants to register, and then let them compete. So I think that will certainly kind of create a better environment. We will have the lot of people's trained, and then we will attract a lot of trials. And I agree, Dr. Murtaza, I think you did it very well. There are a lot of window shopping, but I think that objective is already met. One of the objective is we want to be on the horizon. I mean, we want to be there when people are looking for the trials, and that is happening very well. Matrix is doing a very great job. RC recently is also doing a great job. I obviously sitting here have quite a wide network, so I'm pitching on every platform where I go, whether it's a DCAT, whether it's a CPHI, whether it's a clinical trial conferences, and we all need to do that. And I will also encourage, sorry, I'm taking a little longer time because this is the area where I'm also quite active. So I think the one thing I will encourage every one of us, yes, you should publicize your own company, but please talk about Pakistan, because that's how every one of us will benefit. Because first we need to establish is the confidence in the companies that we can conduct the trials in Pakistan, and then you can like phrase whatever you want to say that your company has this and that. So I was very impressed also by the electron data capturing, like if we are developing something like locally or in the company, that's a really, really very encouraging. And that's where actually our challenge going to be, because integrity of the data is a question. One last but not really the least, cross my fingers. Our country is going through the turmoil, and let's be open and accept it. That's a big hurdle to bring anything like any business to the Pakistan. And we all pray to the God that things will settle. And Pakistan is really well positioned to grow, including any industry, but also particularly in the clinical trials. As I said again, we don't need to go to the IMF if we can start developing the drugs. I mean, the companies I have worked, they are got sold in billions, and the numbers Dr. Murtaza put for the clinical trials, if we are successful to bring not too many, I mean, bring few trials, I think that will bring a significant amount of money to the country. I can continue talking on this, but I'm going to stop here. And thank you very much. Yeah, thanks.
No, thank you so much.
Thank you.
And as Dr. Sarbat said, Murtaza is young and energetic, so he can do a lot of things. And people like him. I do want to make sure that we get to some of the questions at least. So Dr. Jabin, maybe select a few questions. And Murtaza, I don't know if you want to share some information about if people want to contact you offline, if you want to put something in the chat.
Yes, please, because yes, thank you, Sir Faraz, and thank you for the kind words, Dr. Sarwat, Dr. Omar. I really appreciate it. Dr. Jabin, thank you so much. My email address I'll put in the chat right now, and I'll put my phone number here as well in case anyone wants to get in touch, because I see that there are lots and lots of questions, and I would really love to answer all of these questions, because we can go on and on about this. And specifically, so my email address is here. It's simple. It's murtaza@mrcro.com. I'm also putting in my number in case anyone wants to talk to me separately, because this is really close to our heart. Like Dr. Omar just said, that we what has really helped Matrix in the past few years is really putting disconnecting ourselves from a commercial selling pitch versus selling Pakistan. I am yes, I'm young, but I'm also very patriotic, and again, this is something that has really, I think, for me, has helped me take up this responsibility really well. Just speaking about my own personal experiences, I've had all the opportunities in the world forever to have gone abroad, settled outside. In fact, I've been trained abroad. I could have just lived in UK, not come back. But for me, you know, what has been most rewarding in these past 3 years is the ability and the pride that I can take in saying that yes, there are things that we can do in Pakistan that probably nobody you know, has dared challenge in decades. There are challenges. I will not say that everything is rosy and everything is, you know, is gleaming and shining. um, of course there are challenges, and there are lots of challenges at multiple fronts, but what's life without challenges? And you know, this is the place, the area where I think you know, we can really make a difference. We need your support. It's just you know, that's how I would like to conclude this. We need your support in ensuring that Pakistan remains on the map, goes beyond you know, the expectations, and we can do that. We have done it in the past you know, couple of years. Challenged status quo, addressed you know, a lot of myths, and sky is the limit, inshallah.
So what is specifically that you're looking for us to, you know, people who are abroad to support, help specifically?
Sir, most important is that, you know, the word of mouth that spreads around. Word of mouth that Pakistan can do and is doing clinical trials, and is doing clinical trials as well as anybody else in the world. Just this statement, and this statement going to the right stakeholders, going to the right channels, is what is really important for us right now. And eventually, of course, this will you know, this will have a rolling ball effect, because people then once they understand that, you know, this is, and of course there's a big credibility that that the Pakistani physicians have built in North America, all across. We can specifically help the country just by portraying the landscape that we can offer.
Thank you so much, Murtaza. I know that we are a little over time, but there are people who have raised their hands all through your talk, and they have multiple questions. But at least I will ask Dr. Jabin to at least get through some of them. And you have left your email and your phone number in the chat, which is very generous of you. So if anyone has a question that we are not able to answer, they can directly communicate with you. And again, the talk is recorded and it will be on the YouTube channel.
Yeah, thank you so much. One question
Perfect.
is, Dr. Murtaza, that considering the high potential of oncology in Pakistan, is our healthcare system is equipped well enough for trials in large number with complete transparency? And this is a question which is asked by Sikandar Zafar Siddiqui.
Yes, Dr. Jabin. So oncology trials, in fact, are you know, they come with that package of maybe some diagnostic capabilities that Pakistan might not have. I will, you know, this is a challenge. Dr. Omar said that there are some challenges as well, you know, and yes, this is a challenge. But what we've seen is that the cost that we offer in Pakistan for oncology trials, including transport of samples, shipments abroad, and that alone you know, can help us overcome this particular challenge. So we might not have the diagnostic capabilities at the moment for to cater all oncology clinical trials, but we always have a solution for it. That's the message that I want to give, and we've
Can I add
provided
a
these solutions.
Can I add, Dr. Murtaza? So I think
Yes.
we are also doing we are in similar situations when we are conducting the trials. Importing those kits is not a problem. That's the one thing, but we need to work with the customs because they are becoming sometimes the bottleneck. And I think this is a worth to mention because people need to be aware of where our bottlenecks are and we need to fix it. The other thing I am also suggesting, because lot of companies are very reluctant, and we need to be very honest, to be honest, and that's how you gain the confidence of
Yeah.
these companies. So, for example, for the bioanalysis, we sometimes encourage the companies, basically, okay, you can use your bioanalytical lab where you have the confidence, because that's where the key data is being generated, and then rest of the trial you can conduct in Pakistan. Yeah, so we can conduct. I mean, Pakistan keep in mind we speak English. We have highly trained professionals. Most of them are foreign qualified and foreign trained. Okay. Now with the medical tourism, we have the hospitals, okay, which are of international quality. And Dr. Murtaza mentioned some of them have got a good accreditation from highly reputed agencies. So yes, we can conduct the trial in Pakistan.
Yeah. A second very interesting question is if you can kindly elaborate what proportion of all these trials is community and field trial, and if what are the challenges that are being faced in conducting community clinical trials in Pakistan?
So I think we've made the most progress in community clinical trials. And because I've seen very closely, a few community trials getting conducted here. We've been part of a couple of them, in the past few years, and yes, and I'm sorry, I'm Dr. Jabin. There is another question which is very apt to this theme also. It's by Dr. Ali, that the biggest fear of conducting clinical trials in developing countries is coercion of participants. What safeguards do we offer to our research participants here? This is kind of, in line with, our efforts of community trials that we are doing. The transparency in processes is, to me, the biggest catch point here. If as long as we can, offer a transparent system, and this is something that has been done. It's not something that is mystic at this point in time. You develop a process that can ensure not only complete end-to-end transparency in the recruitment, but also at the end in data capturing, and ensure that there is a control over all the stakeholders who are involved in the overall outcome of the clinical trial. Everything is possible, and we can do it with the best possible quality as well.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Murtaza, for explaining it so well. There are some journalized questions which I would appreciate if you can just provide it to either Sarfraz or Waleed, and we can share it with all the participants. The participants are asking about what are the ISO standards and
Yeah.
Code of Federal Regulation. If what is the policy of DRAP to register to clinical trial units? So
Yeah.
these are kind of a broad question which is being asked, and what are some of the examples of clinical trial which are happening right now under the umbrella of metrics? So if you can elaborate these couple of questions, I know we are over 7 minutes now, but that will be very, very informative, and
Yeah,
will provide a little bit clarity to all the
for
participants
sure.
if you respond, and we can share it with them.
I will just quickly answer all of them. ISO standards. So Matrix is ISO 9001 2015 certified. Our QMS system is certified. And we've been able to, in fact, we were told by the certifying agency that we were the first CRO in the region, not just in Pakistan. So the region did not include RIC, Russia, India, China, but included South Asia, all other countries, and North Africa. We were the first CRO to get ISO certification, and a lot of other CROs have followed suit, I've seen. So ISO standards is something that we can comply with, and we comply with right now. It's not a big thing anymore. So second part of the question again, what are some of the trials that we are doing, where we are involved in right now? So I mentioned that there's a big phase 3 trial that we are currently at the verge of closing out now. It was for a COVID vaccine, but we are involved in some diagnostic trials. We are doing some good work with for rapid diagnostics, and we are also involved in some clinical trials for infectious diseases. Other than that, we were involved in so we've been involved in regulatory services, offering, as I said, we can to offer a complete end-to-end registration process, and then some good real-world data evidences registries. So there are 3 registries right now that the company is running. There's this data management services that we are providing, outsourcing. The US companies are outsourcing their data to us, and we've given them the confidence to do that by providing a very secure, network and environment, IT environment, that is GDPR compliant. This is, these are just a few of the many services. Of course, there are medical writing opportunities that we are involved in, international and national stakeholders, and then there are healthcare access and trainings. So we've liked to spread our web, is how I like to look at it. And Alhamdulillah, so far so good.
Okay, thank you so
Great.
much.
Last
Thank you,
thing,
please.
Dr. Murtaza, can you please tell us where is the Matrix head office in Pakistan? People are curious
Yes.
about it.
Yes, it's in Karachi. So our head office is in Karachi. We've just recently opened up our office in Islamabad as well. But we are based in Karachi. Our head office is in Gulshan Iqbal. And Alhamdulillah, we've got about 82 resources placed all across Pakistan.
Okay,
Thank you so much. Over to you, Dr. Sarfaraz.
Okay, so thank you so much to all the panelists for their comments. We are a little bit beyond our time, which we usually try to make sure that we end, but there was so much interest and so much enthusiasm, and in the spirit of March 23rd, and that I see Dr. Jabin's background, which is very, very apt for this occasion. So thank you so much, Dr. Murtaza. Excellent talk. I know there are like tons of questions and that people are raising hands. But our policy, we always try to make sure that we end on time, and we already like 11 minutes beyond time. So anyone who has any questions or any comments, Murtaza has very generously shared his email and his phone number. So please get in contact with him. So thank you, and inshallah we'll meet again in 2 weeks. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you so
Thanks,
much.
everyone. Bye-bye.
Thank you, everyone. Take
Bye.
care. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum
Bye.
assalam.
Murtaza, this was excellent. Thank you so much.
Jazakallah. Thank you.
There